Hey everybody, welcome back to Haggett Hill. Here's what we're working on today. Mrs. Haggett Hill's dryer went on the fritz. It does come on, it does spin, everything looks to be normal except it just won't heat up. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be the heating element. So watch along as we tackle this project today. Alright, everything comes on like it's supposed to, it just won't heat up. So what we're going to do, we're going to begin by unplugging it. We'll take the power off. We had an older Duet for many years, and it actually had a secondary access panel down here. If this was an older one, if you have one like that, you can take that panel off and actually access what you need to do the testing on the heating element or the thermal breakers. But this one, unfortunately, you got to take the top off and take the front off and take the drum out to get to where we need to. It's a Whirlpool Duet model 8620. So if you have one like it and have the same problem, watch along. We'll see if we can't get it fixed.
Kind of hard for you to see, but we'll get back here. We'll get it unplugged, pull it out from a wall a little ways so we can access the screws here on the back. Got to take the top off first and then the front.
This unit does have the laundry pedestals on the bottom, which makes it really handy, but it also makes it a little heavier. Alright, I think I can reach everything there. Not room for both of us to work back here, so I'll just take care of this on my own. That may be all it needs for the top. We'll see. And voila, it is. Okay. Now let's see what we've got. This is the plug for the control panel, so it needs to come unplugged. This one as well. These all do, looks like. Maybe. And then we'll have to take these braces off here. Okay, there's one of them. That's probably to the door switch, I'm guessing. Not sure what that's to, but we're going to unplug it. Or this one either. But it looks like it needs unplugged. Now if I did that right, this should just come off. How about that? Pull this out. Pretty simple. Now we'll move back around to the front. And we have to get the door off. So we got 3 screws here. We'll get the ones off at the bottom first. If I can get down in there and see them. One. 2. 3, and number 4. Well, that wasn't too bad. We'll move back up here to the top. Give you an up close. You can see the screw, and then it's got a little tab that fits in there.
there, and there. So that should hang on there when we get it out. There may be another somewhere. Okay, once you have all those out, then there's two Phillips right here. Those need to come out. I'm going to put this one right back in the middle to hold it in place so it doesn't fall on me. Alright, with those out and this one out, it should come out. How about that? Alright, from this point, if we get lucky, we may not have to take the drum off. This just goes to show you that even though you clean out your lint trap after every load, it still gets a lot in it. So we're going to vacuum all that out before we get started. Try to set my flashlight up in here where you can see. The heating element's right behind here. Right up in here is the two leads that go to the heating element. So I'm going to vacuum this out, and then I'm going to get my multimeter and test those and see if that's where that's at. So I'm going to go ahead and take this blower housing off. It'll make it a little bit easier to clean when I go to clean it. Make it easier to get into. Be another one somewhere. There, that makes it a little more accessible. It also shows it a whole lot dirtier too. Ooh, look at that. So it needs a good vacuuming anyway. We'll get out my central vac and we'll get that vacuumed out. One of the best things I did when I built this house was put a central vac system in it. Alright. We're going to take a picture of that so I know what goes where. The purple wire goes on the bottom. Y'all remember that. A pair of long needle nose comes in handy for getting those plugs off. So they're off. You can see these two plugs right here. That's what we'll check continuity on. If we have continuity on the multimeter, then we know our heating element's good. If not, then it's bad. So I've got it set the right setting. So, alright, not getting any tone. So I'm going to put it on each of the plugs. No tone. That lets me know that the heating element is bad. Easy enough fix. So now the next thing that we have to do is take this screw out, and there's a screw here, but because the way they are, I'll have to go get a little ratchet because I can't get my cordless in there, and then we'll pull the heating element out. Alright, I've got the bracket loosened up, and we're going to pull it out of there. I think it's got a little tab that holds in there. That comes out. And then the right way to do this is take the drum out and then reach in from the top. But if you look on the internet, you can take these things and you can wiggle this, and this will come out. That's what we're going to do. How about that? And then we're going to unplug these wires right here. Looks like on the front we've got 3 different plugs. These 2 wires are red and white, so they shouldn't matter. This wire in the middle is the little one. So, just in case you forget, I'm going to take a picture of it, so we'll know how it goes back together. There we go. Alright, the back one has a red and a purple, and the purple's on top and the red's on the bottom. Can you remember that, or should I take a picture? Let me take a picture. Purple on top, red on the bottom. Or you could just take those screws out and pull that whole assembly off, but I thought it'd be easier just to unplug it. Got my flashlight, but you all don't need that anyway, do you? Alright, we'll get this pulled out. I do want to show you a couple other things. If it was not the heating element, it could be that little jewel right there. See those 2 things? Those are sensors of some sort, thermal switches, I believe. Put a link down below in the description to the kit I bought. It has all these pieces in it in case you would need them. Alright, let's take this thing apart now. Alright, let's inspect it for a break. Don't see anything on the top. Don't see anything on the bottom. Oh, yeah, right there. Can you see it right there? Right there is the brake. Well, that lets us know what our problem is. Alright, well, we're going to get this all vacuumed out, cleaned up, and I've got a new piece coming. Should be here in a couple days, and we'll get it put back together. Alright, the new part came in today. We're going to go ahead and test continuity on it just to make sure everything's good before we put it back together. Sounds like it is. First of all, we have to slide it back in the housing. That looks about right. Alright, everything's back in there. Do you all remember what color went to what? That was your job. Looks like on the back one, it was purple on top and red on the bottom. Okay. And then on the next one, this little one, right in here, and there was red and white on top and red and white on the bottom. I don't think it made any difference. There's a little tab in there that has to hook up into. You all can't see it, but I can. Alright, we got the tab in there. I've got to get this bracket back in there. This little tab here goes in this slot. Put it in like this. Set it up here. Okay, we've got the bracket back in, all the wires plugged back up, everything's back in its place. So let's work on putting some of this other stuff back together. We'll try those on there. We'll get these restarted and we'll get you back. Put it back in with. Alright, now for the front panel assembly. Some wires that needs to be hooked up here. This lifts up and sets right there. Let's get a couple in it just to hold it. Now for the control panel. Alright, let's make sure we get everything plugged in here. There's one. That goes there. That goes there. That little clip plugs up in there. But before we put the top completely back on, we're going to plug it in and make sure everything works. Put it on a time dry, and we're going to go extra high, and we're going to see if this thing gets warm. All right, I can feel it heated up out the back. So we're going to call that a success. We're going to put the top back on it and slide it back into place and hook the vent up. That kit I ordered off of Amazon had the heating element in it, had the thermal breaker, had these other temperature sensors on there. Those were good on mine, so I'm going to save these for another day. Hey, if you have a Whirlpool or a Fitz Maytag, many other different brands, a lot of these are universal. But if you have problems with a dryer like this and need to order a kit and want to try it yourself, I'll leave a link below in the description. And you know how that works. I'm an Amazon affiliate. If you buy it, cost you the same price, but I make a little commission off of it. But I'll put a link down there in case you ever have any problems with a dryer like this. Well, how about that, folks, for another finished project here on Haggett Hill? I considered it a success. 2 reasons. Number 1, the heating element works because the dryer gets hot again. And number 2, I didn't have extra parts left over by the time I got done. That's always a plus. I do appreciate you stopping by here on Haggett Hill and seeing what we're doing. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. You know, a lot of channels have a niche market about what they do. Some of them is tractor reviews, some of them is just fishing, some of them hunting, some of them is whatever. I just kind of show you what our everyday life is here on Haggett Hill. If you like it, let me know. If you want to see something different, let me know that too. But again, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for visiting with us. Leave me a comment. I like to hear from you all, and I'd like to answer each and every one of them. And as always, God bless to you and your family.